first would be storytelling. I think anytime you're doing content creation, you want to be able to tell a story efficiently and effectively. The thing that I always tell people is just practice. In a lot of cases, it's a numbers and hours game where if you just pour a ton of time into making content and giving it a shot and not sticking to perfection, then you're just going to be helping yourself out. I've made hundreds of videos now, and not everyone is perfect. Not any of them are perfect, but that's why I'm still doing it. YouTube is a long-term game. Any social media is a long-term game, and the key is being consistent. The algorithms love consistency. They want to know that you're here to stay. They want to trust you, and just keeping up with it, not only is it going to be good for your growth, but it's going to be good for your actual experience too, because you'll learn things with every video that you make. So the key is to just keep doing it, even if you don't feel like it's perfect. Post it, see where it goes, learn from your mistakes, and then keep going.
Hello everyone, this is Shubham Tiwari again. Welcome to the Fireside Chats. Our today's guest is the Wes Anderson of YouTube. His work is all about teaching ways to improve your photography and your video production skills. Through quick tips, long examples, vlogs, and more, he makes you see how creating content can be enjoyable and rewarding. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Please welcome Kellan Reck. Kellan, welcome to the Fireside Chats.
Hello, Shubham. How are you? Thanks for having me.
So we'll start with a very quick fire question. I'll give you a word. You have to give me, a line. What do you think of it? So what is the most common mistake you see people make in terms of video production with the following types of content?
Well,
First of all, vlogs.
With vlogs, I think they probably get a little too carried away with, building out graphics or transitions or intros or whatever. I think you just got to get to the point, tell your story through your video, cut it up, and get it posted.
Cool. Video podcasts.
Video podcasts, I think, and I will say kind of an overarching for all of these is a lack of consistency, I think. So I'll say it for this one. I think people will often do 1, 2, 3 episodes, and then they'll just stop creating.
Short films.
Short films. Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know if I have necessarily a good answer for that one, because short films can be so ranging, like you can put a ton into it, or it could be really low budget shot with your iPhone and be an incredible film. So I don't necessarily have a great answer for that one.
Cool. So we'll move to the next question. What are the basic video production skills every short form content creator should have?
Well, I think the first would be storytelling. I think anytime you're doing content creation, you want to be able to tell a story efficiently and effectively. So you want to actually get across the point you're trying to make, and then you want to do it in a creative way. And especially in short form where you have, maybe 15 seconds, maybe 30, up to a minute, whatever it is, it's not a lot of time to tell the story you're trying to tell. So the key important skill that you want to have is being able to tell that story effectively, but then mixing in that creativity to get someone actually watching the entirety of it.
Cool. Do you have any tips on the lighting part of, short form content creation? Because a lot of people just, they have an idea, they just want to shoot it. They are on a location. They have, a friend, let's say, who's collaborating. So do you have any lighting tips for them?
Yeah, and this is an interesting one too, because short form is so different than a lot of the other formats that we talk about, where it's a little bit less about, actual film techniques that we might study in school or through books or through videos. And what I've found in short form is that kind of the raw feel is actually better. So somebody busting out their iPhone and just holding it here and filming, in a lot of cases, will do better in short form than something that's using a cinema camera and heavily edited and looking professional like a commercial on television. And so I would say the best tips for lighting for short form in that case is to find a window. Like I've got a window in front of me that's casting nice light on my face, not even a studio setup or anything. Just find some natural light, a nice angle of the sun or something, and then you can start filming your short form just like that.
Right. And when it comes to tips, do you have any tips for these short form video content creators to improve their video production skills?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I always tell people is just practice. It's in a lot of cases, it's a numbers and hours game where if you just pour a ton of time into making content and giving it a shot and not sticking to perfection, then you're just going to be helping yourself out. I've made, on my YouTube channel, at least I've made hundreds of videos now, and not everyone is perfect. Not any of them are perfect, but that's why I'm still doing it. I've met a lot of creators who constantly are striving for the perfect video, and that means they basically post nothing because it's impossible to get the perfect video.
Yeah.
So the key is to just keep doing it. Even if you don't feel like it's perfect, post it, see where it goes, learn from your mistakes, and then keep going.
Right. So this next question I really wanted to ask you, because recently,
Yeah.
there is an upsurge of horizontal reels. We are seeing, especially I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming across this, anime film which came out recently called Your Name by Makoto Shinkai. So
Mm-hmm.
extremely beautiful horizontal reels, and I'm loving the experience. So do you have any, view on these traditional vertical reels versus now this horizontal reels?
Well, it's funny because I was always of the mindset that, you know, if we go back maybe 10 years, I was thinking, why is anybody even trying
Doing
to
a
film
vertical.
vertically?
Yeah.
It blew my mind. I'm like, just doesn't even make sense. There's not an outlet for it. And people, it made sense that people wanted to hold their phones like this because that's how we talk on it, that's how we text on it. So they started to film like that. And of course, so we've seen this transition now to things like TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, where vertical content is the in factor. But I think now that it's been in play for a couple of years, this vertical content, people are starting to get back into the creativity behind it and what looks nice behind it. And so we're starting to see more of these horizontal outlets on these platforms. And, all it takes is someone to turn their phone to get with that. Some people, even that might be too much work. But I think there's a real nice experience if we can get people to actually take the time to turn their phones horizontal and take in these cinematic experiences. So I think we're going to start to see a lot more of this, actually. I think it's probably going to be a way that at least the artistic community will be headed.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's a whole new experience, and it's going back to
Right?
those previous years. And I still remember that I got a Nokia Express Music phone, and there were like couple of Batman film trailers preloaded. I loved that because
Yeah.
it was vertical, right? So yeah, Kellen, one of the things about your studio is that lighting that you do. I mean, it's amazing,
Mm-hmm.
of course, apart from sounding great. So we'll come to your studio, but before that, do you have any pet peeves when it comes to lighting in videos on social media?
I think that a lot of people don't take the time to think about lighting. And it's not something that if you really don't have a background in filmmaking, you might think about. But I think it goes a really long way. So take, for example, a basic zoom like this. Of course, this background is, nothing incredible. This isn't my studio where I shoot in typically. But if you think about lighting, what a lot of people will do is they'll set their laptop down in front of a window, hop on a zoom, and the background's totally blown out. So they look like a silhouette, right? We've all seen this. Somebody's totally dark, their background's super bright. And all it takes is to consciously think about where the light is and how it's hitting you. So if we flip it around and suddenly the window's in front of me like it is now, you can kind of see in my mirror here. Now the light's hitting me in the face and it's showing me off. My background's similarly lit so we can see that. Obviously, it's not beautifully set up right now, but the lighting is nice. So I think that people just need to be a little bit conscious about where is your light coming from and how is it showing in your videos. And if suddenly that means you're doing a 180-degree turn with your phone out in front of you and the sun's hitting you a little bit better, I think it makes a big difference in the content. So it's just being conscious of where the light source is coming.
Right. And how many lights do you use in your studio?
Yeah, so I don't use too many lights. I like to keep it simple because I think that the more lights you add, the more tricky things get. So I typically, for an average YouTube video, will use one key light, and that's just sort of 45 degrees from my face, gives me a little bit of contrast on my face. And then I use a backlight, one, maybe two, depending. So that might be string lights like you have back here, just as an example, that give a little bokeh for your lens, or it might be something that's kicking off a wall to create a splash of background highlight. Just something to spice up the scene a little bit and create some depth. But really just one key light.
Right. That's a great term to remember, key light. What is your ritual of
Mm-hmm.
producing a video? Can you give us a peek into your creative process, which includes everything like sound, lighting, everything? Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Typically, the first thing I'll do, and I've really tried to hone into this in the last 6 months, is my script writing. So I'll start by coming up with an idea. Sometimes I come up with 5 ideas and then pick the one I think is best. And then I'll start to really dive into a script. And this can be sometimes a long process. Sometimes I'll take a couple hours or more to really think out how I want the script to flow. And I've done this a couple ways. In the past, I've done just bullet points that I can then speak upon. Other times I've written out word for word what exactly I want to say. And then once that's finished, it comes time to shoot. I'll set up my main kind of talking head background. And that's where I go through the whole script. So I'll film the entirety of the script. I've got every word, and I try to be looking into camera for every word just so that I have that as a backup cover for the video. And then I get into my editing, and that's where I basically look for appropriate B-roll, graphics, whatever, to cover as much of the script as I can, because I don't want it to just be me talking on screen the whole time. And that's where I can really illustrate the points that I'm talking about to make things very clear in delivering what I'm trying to say. That's pretty much
Right.
it. Then I do thumbnail and
and
all that fun after.
yeah, yeah, great. And speaking of equipments, can you share the details of your equipment?
Yeah, sure
Do
thing.
you use? Yeah.
My main camera right now is a Sony A7 III. Not by any means a crazy camera, but it's a nice camera that can shoot 4K, 24 frames a second. I think the image quality is really nice for what I'm doing. And then I can also get some nice slow motion B-roll with that camera as well. So I'm doing almost everything on that Sony A7 III right now. In the past, I've used various Canons. I've used various other Sony cameras. I've even shot some videos on my iPhone. Again, the short form stuff I'll definitely do on my iPhone. But for my longer form YouTube, it's really this Sony camera I've been doing everything with right now.
Cool. So, Kellen, one of the things that we focus on TF is monetization and growth playbooks of
Mm-hmm.
creators. So,
Yep.
can you share how many revenue streams do you have at this moment, and if a breakdown is also possible, please share with us.
Sure. Sure. It's a little bit complex right now. I've got a lot of different revenue streams. So I recently, in the last couple weeks, left my full time job. I was videographer with the Boston Red Sox baseball team here in Boston. And I'd been doing that for 10 years. So that was kind of my
Wow.
main revenue stream for that decade. But then I finally made the leap and have created my own business now. So that's got a couple different revenue streams. One is content creation, freelance video production. That's kind of the big heavy duty one. I'd say that's 50% of my revenue, if not more. Next, I do social media marketing. So that's like short form content creation and running social media for various clients. That's probably 30 to 40% of the rest of it. And then there's maybe, 15% that comes from various things like YouTube ad revenue or brand deals that I'm doing on a YouTube video or an Instagram video, things like that. And there's a couple other little revenue streams here and there, but those are the substantial ones that make a big difference.
Right. Can you also share with us the numbers if it's possible?
Yeah. So with the production stuff, it can be ranging anywhere from in a year, it could be 50,000 all the way up to 120,000. I mean, it can totally
Okay.
range. And in the last couple of years, I've seen growth in that in
Right.
a pretty exponential way, which is fantastic. And then the social media marketing can be kind of in a similar range. So those two are kind of battling
Got it.
head and head right now for it, depending on how many clients I have at any one time.
Cool.
There's
So
definitely there's
fun.
definitely some
Yeah.
money to be
Yeah.
made in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got into this by a film student, by being a full film student, and now
That's
you're
right.
you're on YouTube. So you're a creator now. So that's the kind of journey we are trying to show our viewers. So yeah, speaking of journeys, if you had a time machine, would you go back in time and do anything different on your YouTube channel?
I don't think I would, and I think that's part of the fun of it. Is my journey on YouTube has been an interesting one. I started doing tutorial videos way back, thinking they were just for fun, and then started to see some traction. So I started to put my face in some of the videos and create some more depth behind them by becoming a character within my channel. And then now I've started to get more into video essay type videos where I'm putting a lot more time into the script writing, as I was saying, a lot more time into the editing. They take longer to make, but I think people get a little bit more out of them. I think they're more enjoyable to watch. So, one constant battle I'm having, and maybe I could have gone back in time and done this sooner, is figuring out how exactly I want the channel to look from a niche perspective. Like, is it tutorials? Is it video essays? Is it the combo of both of that? And that's a battle I'm still working out because I have fun making all of them. So
Right.
maybe if I had started doing that sooner, I'd be on a more traject line. But that's part of the journey.
Right, right. So one of the other IPs that we do on TF is called Creator Deep Dive, and we recently recorded one episode on Stevie Emerson and Nikki Howard. If you know them, they're essentially actors who have
Awesome,
become creators
awesome.
now on YouTube. And here you are, a film student who has turned into a YouTube creator now. So do you have any message for people who may have traditional backgrounds and maybe thinking of getting into creator economy? Do you have any message where to begin and how to keep up the momentum?
Yeah, I mean, my first point that I say to everyone, and I kind of touched on it before, is consistency. YouTube is a long term game. Any social media is a long term game, and the key is being consistent. The algorithms love consistency. They want to know that you're here to stay. They want to trust you, and just keeping up with it. Not only is it going to be good for your growth, but it's going to be good for your actual experience too, because you'll learn things with every video that you make. So I've done over the last 5 years, 200 something videos. And that consistency has gotten me to where I am. It's not any one video that just put me where I wanted to be. It was learning through all of those videos over time.
Right. Right. So, a couple of rituals we make our guests go through at the end of the interviews. We ask them their favorite books or movies. In your case, I'll ask movies, and also nominate anyone
Okay.
for our show. So, please give us your movie
Sure.
recommendation.
Oh man, let's see. I'm actually doing a video right now on the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. I'm doing
Okay.
a
Wow.
little breakdown on why the Shire at the beginning of the movie, why it
Yeah.
feels just so good to us. Why do you think of that movie and feel happy when you think about the Shire? So I'm doing a pretty cool breakdown on the filmmaking behind that. I'm having a ton of fun doing it. So that's just what comes to mind right now because my head has fully been engrossed in
Wow.
Lord of the Rings over the
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
couple days.
We're looking
But,
forward to it. Yeah.
so that's my answer there. Yeah, no,
We're
it should
looking
be a really
forward to
fun
it.
one. It's kind of a different
Yeah.
style, but it'll be fun.
And we'll put the link of that video in this description as well in this video. So,
Oh, you're the best. You're the best.
yeah. Last one. Would you like to nominate anyone for a show?
Oh man, I would have to nominate my business partner and content creating partner Kevin Hupp for the show.
Kellan
I
Reck.
do.
Okay.
I run a TikTok account with him. We've got 1.5 million followers over there, and we do a lot of singing. Have a lot of fun on that account. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out.
Wonderful. So there you go, folks. You know who our next guest would be on the show. But for now, Kellan, thank you so much for giving us your time. We love your channel. We love what
Of
you're
course.
doing, and we hope you continue to look at like films like Lord of the Rings and many other interesting subjects from different angles. We wish you the best. Thanks again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shubham.
Thank you. And cut. That's it for today's episode, guys. If you really liked it, please subscribe to the Thousand Faces Club and press the bell icon below so that you don't miss any videos from us. Thank you.